Hello everyone and welcome to another STEM demonstration. Today we are going to be answering a very important question. If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one around to hear it, does it make a sound? To answer this question, we first need to understand what sound is. Have you ever stopped to think about that? What is sound? We can't see it, we can't smell it, we can't taste it, we can only hear it. And sometimes, if a sound is very, very loud, like a clap of thunder, or maybe if you stand right next to a speaker that's playing music, if you're very still and pay close attention, you might be able to feel the sound. What is it you're feeling? Vibrations, right? Have you ever been in your house during a thunderstorm and a particularly loud clap of thunder makes your house shake just a little bit? That's what sound is. Sound is vibrations in the air around us. So we've talked before in our videos about how everything in the world is made up of molecules. And we've also talked about how no two molecules can take up the same space at the same time. It's one of the fundamental laws of physics. One or the other of the molecules has to move out of the way. When something in our world starts to vibrate and it moves into a new position in space, it actually has to knock a bunch of air molecules out of the way in order to make that movement happen. And what happens to those air molecules? Well, they get knocked into other air molecules, which get knocked into other air molecules, and it ripples out from the object making the sound, just like a stone if you throw it in a pool of water. Stone goes in, and from that point, we have the ripples that get bigger and bigger and bigger until they lose energy and slowly fade out. The same thing is happening with sound waves in the air. It's just that we can't see it, but we can hear it, and if we're paying very close attention, we can feel it as well. Now, the strength of an object's vibration is directly connected to how loud the sound is. That's why with particularly loud sounds, you don't have to be nearby to hear them. For example, thunder is created way high up in the atmosphere, sometimes a mile or more away from where you are on the ground. In order for the sound to travel that kind of distance, it has to be a very strong vibration. And that's because lightning, which is making the sound, is made up of pure energy. And the energy, as that lightning flashes into being, pushes the air molecules out of its way at very high speeds. But let me give you another demonstration. I have here a homemade kazoo. Now you can make this at home as well. You're gonna need 2 jumbo craft sticks, the big ones like this. You're gonna need a thick or a wide rubber band, 2 smaller rubber bands of any size, and a couple strips of either foam or folded construction paper. You're going to take your first craft stick and put your wide rubber band all the way around it, just like this. And then you're going to wrap it with your foam, one end here and one end here. And then put your second craft stick on top and secure with the rubber bands on the side. So to play my homemade kazoo, I'm going to blow in between the 2 craft sticks in this little gap that's made here. The air that I send out is going to cause the rubber band to vibrate, and those vibrations are going to create the sound that you hear. But again, the strength of the vibration is going to determine how loud the sound is. So if I blow very gently like this, you probably didn't hear very much of that. I could hear it because my ear is right next to where my kazoo is, but the microphone on the camera is pretty far away. So if I want you to be able to hear the sound I'm making, I need to blow harder. Just like that. And of course, if I blow absolutely as hard as I can, it'll be even louder. The volume of the sound that you hear is determined by the intensity of the vibration, and I can change that intensity based on the strength of the air coming out of my mouth. Okay, so now we understand what sound is and how it's created. But how do vibrations in the air translate into actual noises and sounds that you and I can hear? Well, it all has to do with the structure of your ears. So I drew this diagram, and I'm not an artist, so I did the best that I could. But if you're really interested in learning more about how your ears work, come on into the library. Any book that you check out about your ears or about how sound works is going to have a very detailed and precise diagram that's a lot better than the one that I drew. But this will at least show you the basics. So it starts with your ear, right here. This is the outer part of your ear. And then that hole in the middle of your ear that your doctor looks into with his special light when you go to the doctor's office, that's our ear canal. And it's a special tunnel that leads back to the tympanic membrane. Now that's just a fancy word for eardrum, but what it is a piece of skin or tissue that's drawn over this opening. It's connected to 3 small bones in your inner ear: the malleus, the incus, and this one that looks kind of like a stirrup called the stapes. Here's a fun fact for you. The stapes is the smallest bone in the human body. The stapes is connected to the cochlea, and the cochlea is connected to our cochlear nerve. So when something vibrates, like a tree falling in the forest or a clap of thunder, those vibrations travel through the air and they make it all the way to our ear. This outer shell of our ear catches the sound waves, funnels them down the ear canal, and makes the tympanic membrane vibrate. The tympanic membrane is connected to the malleus, which is connected to the incus, which is connected to the stapes. So as it vibrates, all of these bones vibrate as well. The stapes is connected to the cochlea, so the cochlea vibrates, and then the nerve carries those vibrations to our brain to be interpreted as sound. It's a very refined chain reaction. And if any point in this chain reaction is broken, we won't hear the sound. So, in order for a sound to be heard, there are 3 things that have to happen. Let's recap. The first is something has to cause a vibration. The second is there needs to be air and air molecules to carry that vibration from the object that vibrated to an ear to hear it. If you don't have air molecules to bump into each other, the sound's not going to go anywhere. This is why if you were to go to outer space and do an orbit around the Earth, and you were out in the vacuum of space, even if there was a giant rocket ship right beside you, there would be absolutely no sound coming from its engines because there's no air in space. There's no air molecules to carry those waves of sound. And the third thing that we need is an ear to hear the sound. And the ear has to have all of these particular pieces and parts, or the sound won't make it to our cochlear nerve to be heard by the brain. So let's get back to that question from the beginning of the video. If a tree falls in a forest and there's no one around to hear it, does it make a sound? Let's think about our 3 steps. First, something causing a vibration. Yes, the tree is falling. That's going to cause a vibration. It's going to create a sound wave to travel through the air. Second, is there air to carry the sound wave? In a forest here on Earth, yep, there's air. But there's the third part that we have to consider. If there's no ear to hear the sound, is it still a sound? And the answer actually is no. It's just a vibration of energy in the air. So the answer to this question technically is no. A tree falling in a forest doesn't make a sound unless there's something there to hear it. But think about this, friends. How often in a forest is there nothing with ears around? Remember, humans aren't the only thing that can hear. All sorts of animals that live in the woods, in the forests, have ears and they can hear. So if a tree falls in the forest, chances are something is going to be around to hear it. Thanks for tuning in today, friends. I hope you learned something. If you want to learn more, check out our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, or our website for all sorts of STEM demonstration videos and storytime videos that we've been making just for you. Until next time, bye.